Principle of a lidi. So lidi means stick, but like if you have one satay stick, like a skewer, you can easily break it. But if you try to break a whole bundle of satay sticks, you can't, right? So it's just that principle that the strength is made up of lots of little ones all together, like being strong, like humans. We are strong. So how we do that is, this isn't how we would usually do it, but we're just going to try it with this. So if you imagine, usually in Bali, like we'd have a stack of 10 sticks, all the same length, 4 meters long, bundled together, and we get our string, and every 25 to 30 centimeters we tie it. So we go around 2 times or 3 times, and then you do your tie. Then you do another one here, another one here, another one here. So we're going to make those, but here you can see we've only got between 1.5 and 2.5 meter length of these sticks, so it's going to be interesting. But actually this concept comes from African architecture, from the round houses, and they have a lidi, like what we call a lidi, going around the door, so it's like a curve, so it really curves in like that. So like you actually, and that's because this is a new material for me, like we're just going to see how much bend we can get out of it. So like say these ones, like that, that's not going to break. Well, it depends how much load you've got in it, and I'm not an engineer, but let's just say like you can still bend that, still feels like it's going to break if it had too much pressure on it. It's still going to break up there. It's a bit short. So it's sort of finding that ideal, like engineers would tell us in Bali how wide your lidi beam needs to be. So they would get a piece of triplex, we call it, plywood, and then cut out like your 8 centimeters or 10 centimeters. Then you can just go along the thing and check the size that it's thick enough. So this we need to go like around that circle there. We're going to use it as a stabilizer at the base. So I think, and this could have dried out a bit. Like as the bamboo dries, it becomes less flexible. And this is a whole bamboo, so it does have, individual ones have a bit of flex, see? Nearly still like a cane. But, if you put too much pressure on that, it would just break. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 8, I think, or was that 9? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because we need quite a tight circle. And you can also do it with thin splits, because actually to make that lidi, you know how we did the splits with the splitter, so that gave us splits this big. And then lidis, they're actually like 1 centimeter square. So you need a bamboo that's about 1 centimeter thick. And it can, of course, it's going to taper a little. And also we use the apus bamboo tali. So it's a bamboo that you weave with because it's got more flexibility. In the middle, we do like 2 splits facing each other usually, because that gives you your structural strength. Because these will flex, but then it's like you need the bone in the middle. And those 2 bigger splits that run all the way through, they can be 3 or 4 centimeter wide, depending on and that can be with bamboo patum, which is Dendrocalamus asper. I think this one would work, the giganticus. It's a similar thickness, but that's like the bone in your arm. So that's the real strength, because those beams, they generally don't run this way, they run this way, and that's what gives you your, they can curve and snake, but they still have the structural strength that you can rest your roof, your rafters, and the structure of the roof on top of them. So it's like, you've got your post and beam. It's basically like the beam, but you've made it into a snake. So that's how you get the nice shapes with the bamboo structures.
So you're saying we are using, for instance, splits of these inside?
We're not going to do it in this one because this is going to be such a tight circle. Sometimes, and it's not holding pressure this way, it's just wanting to hold in that way, like, I don't know what you call that. If we were going to do it on top of a structure, like as a beam, if we wanted to curve like that, or we can curve like that also, then we definitely have those two splits inside. But I don't know, this will be a bit of a test because maybe over time, plus this isn't treated, so this is really just as part of the hyperboloid, just to keep it tied in, because we have them pinned down to the ground. So like Khan pointed out, like if you don't have a ring and you don't have it pinned down, as soon as you climb on it, it's going to off. Like that. So the principle is as we lay it out, whether we bundle these in groups of, I'd say we might do 3s. So we'll have a group of, we'll do 9, I think. 3 and 3. So we've got these 3. Sorry. I'm not sure if we should trim them all the same height. I don't think it matters too much. And this one we're going to tie all the way along. Maybe just up to a certain point, and then we've got 3 more. So this 3 we're going to start here.
We tie until we get a circle.
Yeah, so stagger it like that, and the next 3. Just working out, because what I worked out is because this 3 would start here.
Now I get it.
All right. And then here is where you get your full, that's where your thing starts. So then you're going to cut off all them, which is a bit of a pity because you're wasting this nice strength at the bottom and we're going up towards the top. So either we invert it, or I think what we might do is group them into lengths, because we've got our nice long ones.
But why wouldn't you use the lower parts? I mean,
no, I'm saying you would, but this is how we usually do it when we've got bundles of splits. So our lidi starts there, and then where the ends are, we're going to have to cut them to the right length. Where the first one finishes, we start another one here. So say that's the end of that one. So also we could just measure it out on the ground as to where these stagger points start. That's the end, that's continuing from that first one.
So would we use now, let's say, the circumference of the hyperboloid?
Wait a second. This is continuing from the second one. This is continuing from the third one. But I haven't gone that far back enough. From the first one. From the second one. And that's the third one. I've got to put that second bunch down. Okay, these go a bit further back. So we could even do it like this. Like we could just keep, and you can do it individually too. So like say, actually maybe we could do that method. There's a few ways to skin this cat. So this is where the next three, you know, they're still keeping the circumference as you add them in. And then these start here. But they're a bit shorter. So actually what we could do, so the principle is that there's no one single breaking point. You've got these like, yeah, this point. So we've got 1, 2, 3 like that, and then where this one finishes, we continue it there. Next one continues there. So you don't have everything finishing in one spot. So actually, maybe the better way to do this would be individually. Like it's all a time and energy thing, because you can easily do clumps, like bundles of sticks, stick them all together, and that's quite a fastish way to do it. It still adds a lot of cost onto the build. That's why, like when you go from post and beam structures to curved structures, like I would say to people like, well, how much do you want your building to cost? It depends like how many curves you can have, you know, because this is all the labor that goes into it. And then what they do in like the Ibuku builds is that they don't do the bundles, they do individual, like so how that would look with this would be, start with 1, 2, 3, and usually I have a measuring stick, so this is your measuring stick. 1, 2, 3, right, next one 4, next one 5, that one's already a bit bendy, 6, you could do them like half measures as well, but it just depends how thick we want that to be. So that's our 6, but then we just have to continue them from there. But I think we might trim them down a little bit, because say like
I think
this one's short, right? So it's losing out there. So that's what you could do, is just from where it gets thin, overlap it a bit. This one's thin here, but that's the thing. See, we've got too many already finishing in that one spot. So you got to overlap it. The next one. This is, oh, that's that one's done. Yeah, I think I might trim them down just so it's not confusing. We could do a few different sizes. This one, but as long as like if you go back 30 centimeters. So I guess if we all got one, say I'm on this one, okay, that's gonna overlap there. We'll do a bundle there, and then it goes to there. I'm gonna extend it there, overlap 30 centimeters here, overlap there. There's just a little bit of a risk that we'll get too many joins in like one place, and that could be a weak point. So yeah, we might trim them and do 2 or 3 sizes, so we don't have that problem with trying to work out where they should be. Yeah. All right, can maybe pause that.
String? Where are we putting the string?
Maybe you can have a sample, start with one.
Yeah. All right. But I'd like to just trim them first, because otherwise if we can get, I can do it just a sample of the knot. Like usually we'd have okay, if we do, maybe we do the bundle of 3. We do bundles of 3. Yeah. So start at the bottom with your string, and then basically you're going around one. Used to this string. 1, 2. You don't want it like super tight, otherwise they won't give enough to sort of bend, but solid. And then you go do a double, 1, 2, because that's like non-slip, as non-slip as this stuff gets. And then 1 to tie it off. But I think with this string it's slippery, more slippery than the stuff we use in Bali. So I might have to do another double thing there, and then just burn it with the thing to stop it from fraying. And then also you want to kind of, so say here, it should be like, it should really be 25 centimeters, but we'll do a little bit longer in this case. So 1, 2, 3. So maybe just bundle them into 3s, and then we can just trim the top. So double. So that's non-slip. So maybe someone could do the knotting and someone come along behind and do the burning off the thing. That's one of the things in bamboo. It's like everything goes quicker if you delegate into small jobs, you know. Someone does one part, someone comes along behind and does the next thing. So 3 or 4 times around. I think for this length string we can do 4.
And then with these bundles we do the overlapping as you said.
And then you do an overlap, yeah. So first you make your...
Okay.
I should have got one of those flamethrower lighters. The windproof ones. I'll roughly sort them, and then when we've done these bundles, I'll trim them. So we'll get the longest ones first.
It's good to take the ones with the same size, so then you don't trim a lot. Eh?
Yeah. But we will do it. We will have to do it. We might have to do a trim. Let's just get them all done first.
Then you're wasting your afadhali unachukua zile zinatoshana unafunga. The ones that are same size, then you funga them. Then you don't even have many frames.
So yeah, if we're looking at every...
Like these 2 are together, these other 2 are together.
2, 3. Four, and yes, same. You can. These will sometimes get later, like because in Bali we use the tali plastic, we call it, which isn't as slippery as this.
For time.
It grips a bit better and it grips on itself, so you don't have to use the lighter. The guys don't like this one. I should have brought a kilo with me. I did bring a little, but so this will be like, yeah, just like your 40 centimeters. So I'll cut a whole heap of them. So yeah, usually we'll have someone like cutting these first, or they do this part first, cut a whole stack of them. So they've just got them there, and then they just go along. It's sort of all about the methodology and Bali. They've figured out how to make it faster and more efficient. So, and then yes, maybe one more here. There's our little measuring stick. So I think these, we can use these same sticks.
To measure.
There's a few sitting there. We use that size. And I think that's about our limit in terms of length. So let's get the longest ones first, because some of them were a little bit short. Whoops.
Yeah, we have them grouped there already.
Okay, great. Whoops. Didn't do that very well. Yeah, do that double knot at the start. I didn't do a double there. And you'll feel how they kind of like, how they like to sit together. So first, did I do that double? So first, sorry. First, just get them. 1, 2, 3. God. And they have a kind of, just sort of figure out how they like to sit together. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's too short. That one's a little bit long, but we can trim him. But have a feel, like start tying them, just kind of like give them a little how they want to sit together. See those guys? They will pull in, like they're not going to be totally straight, but like from that, it's going to like pull in. Huh?
That one is too sharp. Oh, it comes.
They'll pull in. So like even if that's sticking out there, once you get that one, like they'll start to pull in. But it's good to have them sitting, just give them a little shuffle so the main part in the middle is nice and together, and then start tying them there. And I will probably have to cut these big bits off because they're not going to want to curve very well. So yeah, just start like 30, that sort of length up from the bottom. I'll just cut a whole heap of the string. You're going to group them. Who's going to start tying? So it's easier to do it on the ground and use. So maybe we can have 2 people grouping them and 2 people tying them. Where's that measuring stick just gone?
So these are the ones we are going to use on the foundation of the parabol.
Yeah, to tie it in at the bottom, because we don't have like stakes going into the ground or a concrete foundation. So this is going to be a ring that basically holds its shape, and then we can should be able to nail into this, although we haven't got that center strip. So if we do get some more splits later, we can also bring the center split into it, because that's really important when you want to nail like any kind of beams coming the other way. You want to be able to go through that, if possible, through that center split. And because these are hollow, it's not the perfect scenario, you know, but we don't have the, I mean, you saw how hard it was to make those splits the other day. So this is really just an experiment, but yeah, see how it goes.
Everybody.
So let me just, I've got my tape measure. See how long we are. Or we could just look at our circle too. We know that this is 2.8. 3 is there.
So what are we looking for? 2.8?
Just to we just need to decide where we're going to trim them at. So we've got we've got this circumference here is already 2.8. And see, like this is down here. So we might have to cut them around the 2 meter line.
Okay.
That's 2 meters there, and that's where that one's finished. So we might just have to chop these parts. Or we can leave them in. Maybe just leave them in, but we... Hello. How are you? Yeah. Yeah. Pulse. Hello.